Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Friday, October 24th, 2025, and today's topic, probably just call it this Icarus illustration, the process of it. Before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. I'm continuing this from yesterday's video, and it was originally from several months ago, the idea, and so I'll link to those two videos if you want more detail. So for the before picture, I'll put one from like originally, and then I'll put the one from like yesterday to where I ended up here. So this took me about an hour to get this far, and from yesterday's video I looked up Icarus and like sandals and like reference, in other words, and so yeah, I got some ideas, and I wanted to put up the two before pictures because there's this idea of like the next logical step, which I kind of wanted to call this video, but maybe I'll save that for tomorrow or something. But it's this idea of, and this is something that I've worked on like for a while, for many years. It's this idea of like, if I have like in these before pictures, there should be kind of a logical progression. There is a process to it, and it helps, especially if you're wanting to do either a lot of work or consistent or like really like kind of detailed and like finished kind of work. But of course you can just like play around, and I mean, it doesn't matter, but you can see sort of there is like a methodology if that's the kind of thing you're doing. So that's like the sketching part of it. And then the next thing is the tightening it up, which is what I did yesterday, but then like starting to put in sort of the light and dark, but I'm moving into the detail. I said the other day that the light and dark, which is kind of the second stage, first of all, you don't have to do cross hatching. However, the inside shape here, so I filled this in, and these are all just stylistic choices. There's different ways you can accomplish that, but it's like the inside shape. Like you could outline that, you don't have to cross hatch, but it would still be a shape because these are just shapes. But again, that's kind of another topic. But like the light and dark does a lot of heavy lifting. And then now I'm going to start to move into sort of the detail, but there's still some sketching involved because as I looked up pictures for inspiration and for reference, I got ideas for like, because these wings are like fake wings. So yeah, I'm just gonna sort of talk about how I would proceed. I've already done like an hour from yesterday. So one thing, for example, is I'm just gonna use this pen, but I've started to go in and I talked about like the different tools in the other videos, but so for example, this is really what detail is. If you're wondering like how do you make something look more finished, things just look more definite, like that's one thing. Now you can paint over some things. That's what I did here in yesterday's video. You can see I kind of, I mean, if you have to do it too many times, it's sort of overworked, but I mean, it happens. And then also you can use it for highlights. So part of it is I am wanting this to look like somehow he's controlling these wings. So that's like part of what's going on here, kind of like right here. So this is still sketching because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to make it look kind of like mechanical right here. But of course at this point it's starting to fall apart. So there's that. And then the next thing would be like the light and dark. So it's been established, and so now it's just a matter of detailing, but keeping it consistent and just being kind of like gradual about it. For example, the focal point is already right here. So I don't necessarily have to make all of it the same level. Again, that's like an artistic thing, like a choice that you make as the person drawing it. However, this it's kind of pretty loose. It's kind of like sketchy. So I have reference. So for example, like one thing is like this look right here for these wings. I'm not like an expert at drawing wings, so I'm gonna do this, and it already makes it look a little bit more detailed, like more definite. That's kind of what I mean. Kind of like this. That's just one way of doing that. Now you don't have to like shade it. So that's like one approach to making it look more finished. I would say don't mistake the term finish with detail. There's a difference. Some things can look detailed but not finished, and vice versa. So it can look finished and still just be like this. So another thing is, I'm using these white paint markers to kind of sort of fix things. I mean, I had this idea like maybe I could sketch in like a sky, but I don't know. I kind of want it to be outlined rather than use the background. But yeah, one thing I had in mind was just putting some highlights right here, because it's supposed to be his leg. So for example, like this is like, to me, like considered like fine detail, but that's okay. I mean, I can kind of move in that direction with it. And this is kind of the look anyway. So I wanted that to have some light. The other thing is stuff like this to make something look finished. Is that if that's the shape, make it the shape. That's what finish looks like. So that's really what detail and finish is about. So yeah, you could go back in and like erase that. This. But if you practice and have a methodology, like a process to it, then you're not fixing things constantly. You're moving forward, and that's like the main thing, is to make improvements, continuous improvement upon it. Stuff like this to make it look more. You kind of have to make a decision. Like if I wanted this to be like, shade the background, which I kind of don't want to for some reason, and so I'm just going to do this and just use like the lighting and like the line weight. And I mean, I kind of like that it's not like the focal point, like this is the focal point. But I mean, you could like these are like detail. They're more definite. The shapes are smaller. And like I always say, detail, you don't rush details, you just take your time. And this is where you can really get into like the reference and everything. And there could be some little highlights like right here. So it's like this kind of thing, just really reinforcing and just making it look more subtle and detailed. That's what I wanted to go over with you. I might just create a course, collect them together. I mean, I've been putting them into a playlist, but sometimes these get sort of lost in like the big playlist. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine. And if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.